Hi, we're at Finch Frolic Garden in Fallbrook. We just received, whoa, 2 3/4 inches of rain overnight. So much for AccuWeather's 1/4 inch that they predicted. And this is a grand opportunity to see water catchment in action. So, for those of you who have visited the garden, you'll know the whole spiel about how we not only collect all the water that's on the property, but also the water that flows in from the street. So here's our first rain catchment basin, as we're requiring more water as I speak here. So hundreds of thousands of gallons of water come off the street and used to flood the area and take the topsoil with it. Now it's channeled into a series of rain catchment basins. This is the first one, which is full. And if I can step over these rocks without falling in, you'll see that it has a designated overflow into the next rain catchment basin. And the next one, and so on through the property. So now, instead of eroding, this water will be percolating. It's percolating even now as we speak, and sinking in through the soil and gradually watering the plants, the roots, creating soil deep in the ground below. Okay, so here it is after a downpour. A little bit more dramatic. We just had a few minutes of very heavy rain. And here's the water going onto our property. And here's some more coming from the neighbor's driveway, and it's coming through this jade planter there. And it's directed through our gate. Now in January of this year, we had a gentleman helping us here, and his idea was to capture this water higher up into a swale. So he dug this swale, which we can't really see right this minute because it's full of water. See the standing water there? It runs all the way across to the fence, and we were supposed to cut the curb out of the street to allow more street water in, because this would be spreading the water farther rather than just dumping it into those 2 rain catchment basins. I'm trying to get water harvested farther across my property, but that cut of the berm never happened. This year passed by. You don't think of these things when it's dry. So the water is going into this swale and leaching down. We buried a flame tree we cut down right here, or he did anyway. And so that water from the street is now going down to the roots of all these plants. Gravity is so cool. This water is coming off the higher portion of our property in front of our house, and it's pooling here, but some of it's seeping into this area where the white guava is. But we also have it channeled, and it'd be a good time for me after I do this to take a hoe and open that up a little bit better. But it goes down the hill and then into the hugel swales into our kitchen garden. So the water we're harvesting at the top of the hill is directly going in to feed the plants in our vegetable garden. Here is the remnants of the cement culvert that used to be the only way for water to run across the property. Of course, it never worked, so it always overflowed and eroded the property. So now this is dammed up at the end, and we have a series of rain catchment basins. So some water is allowed through this channel so that we can catch water here on the highest point of our property. And then as this percolates down, it will move through the soil and benefit all the plants and trees that are below it. Wow, this is so exciting. There's lots of rain coming. So here we are about midpoint on the property through the rain catchment basins. The water is coming past us. I'm on the little covered bridge that's made out of the old sheds, and able to watch the water flowing underneath. And you have to understand, here in drylands, when we receive less than 10 inches of rain a year, this is pretty spectacular. So the water is going down through the property. We've hit heavy clay through here, so the water's probably going to stand here for longer than it will uphill, but it'll eventually percolate down. We're also heading into January and February, which is the native Pacific chorus frog's breeding time. So they will enjoy these little vernal pools of water, taking the opportunity to lay eggs. These pools do not have mosquito fish in it, so they will not be predating upon the tadpoles and the frog eggs, which is what gambusia do, rather than eat mosquitoes. And then those little frogs, once they grow up, will move into the rest of the garden along with their parents and eat bugs for us the whole rest of the year. Here we are under canopy. And this area has never been sheet mulched. This is just years of bamboo leaves dropped. And as you can see, 2 3/4 inches of rain has fallen on this. There is no erosion. There are no slick spots. The water is hitting all the layers of canopy, shattering, hitting protection on the soil, and then gently seeping into the ground. Rainwater, or any water for that matter, on bare ground is as compacting as running a truck over the top of it. So here the rainwater is pacified by the different layers of canopy. It is captured, it is spread, it is sunken into the ground, it is harvested. And if we do this everywhere, we will never have water shortages for our wells. We will have fewer trees dying. We'll have healthy landscapes and a good water table. Here's water moving across our property into our big pond. And this is just pretty. For those of you in watery states, this is like no big deal. But here, this is amazing. So here I'm going to try to walk without getting the lens wet, but you can see through the rose walk here, the water coming down through all the layers of bamboo and roses and this lovely angel's trumpet, which is blooming heroically here in December. And it's all sinking into the ground. This used to be slick and nasty and full of weeds. And now it's good soil and it's absorbing all of this water. So here is the little pond. Water is filtering into here. The pondweed and azolla that's on top is helping purify that water, as well as all the rest of the plants that are all the way through the whole rain catchment area. So all the debris and toxics that are coming in, is that a word, toxics? Toxins that are moving down through the streets and the neighbors' yards and coming into our property. The phytoremediation of these plants is keeping it clean, is making it clean. Azolla, the world's smallest fern, is a big-time phytoremediator. And really good chicken food, too. And then, here where we do have just unadorned clay, look how slick it is. It's repelling water. Water's hitting and compacting and rolling off. This is what the whole property would look like, except for big flooded areas, if it were not for the rain catchment basins and the sheet mulch, the buried wood, the hugelkultur, and all the mulch on the top of the ground that's natural. And this is a very full pond. So when this reaches capacity, the water goes through a designated overflow into a black tube that takes it safely down into the stream bed below. Might float the boat pretty soon. So this is how water catchment works, and for all the hundreds of people that visit us here during the year when it's dry, March through November, this is what it looks like. Everybody says, oh, I'd love to see it while the water's running. Well, the water doesn't run so much. It more likely collects, but this is it.